Hi, my name is Elena. I am a Learning and Evaluation Specialist here at LAYC, and I'm going to lead you through ETO Online Training Module 3. Please follow along in the training program in ETO. Keep in mind that when you gain access to your program pages after completing this training, you may have more than one program that you have access to. We went over how to switch between program pages in Module 2. So today we're going to go over managing participant enrollments, demographics, managing groups, and making referrals. We require that LAYC staff enter this data for each program so that we can tell how many youth we're serving at any given time and the characteristics of those youth. So we obtain this participant demographic information from an intake form that is given to youth when they first start receiving services from the program. You can find the intake form on your homepage in the far right column, right here. There's both an English and a Spanish version. So I'll go ahead and show you what the English version looks like right now. So as you can see, we collect some basic demographic and other key information for the youth, such as their name, their address, and then gender, ethnicity and race, some country of origin information, some important information about their school, if they have a child, and then their living situation. So first we're going to go over how to check your participant roster. These are those participants who are currently enrolled in the program that you're in. So in order to check the participant roster, you go up here to this search bar and click the green search button. As you can see, there are 13 participants that are in this program currently. They all have the last name of Fake. Today we'll be using Fake participants for practice, and so that's why they all have the same last name of Fake. As you go through the training module, if you do add any participants to the training program, please make sure that they have the last name of Fake so we know that it's just for practice. So let's go back to the home page. You may also search for a participant in your roster by adding their name in this search bar and then clicking search. Next, we're going to talk about how to enroll existing participants. So we have many youth enrolled in multiple LAYC programs and do not want to create duplicate records for those youth. All of their data should be together on the same record. So the first thing we do when we get an intake form from a youth, make sure they're not already enrolled in our system. So you would do that by clicking Enroll Existing. That youth using their last name. Today for practice, we'll type in the last name Fake. And so here is a list of all the youth that are in our ETO system that have the last name Fake that are not already enrolled in this program. So let's say, for example, that I was looking for Aaron Fake, this participant right here. Always double check the date of birth to make sure you have the right person. At times, we do have youth with the same first and last name, and having that birthday really helps to make sure you're differentiating between them. So as you see, I clicked on the checkbox. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom here. We'll add a program start date for the youth. You may have to backdate that if the youth has already been enrolled in the program. Let's just say that the youth enrolled about a week ago, and then click Enroll. You should get this pop-up that says the participant was successfully enrolled. And then after you click OK, we'll bring up Aaron's dashboard, in which you can see recent assessments that the youth has taken and then the different programs that the youth has been a part of. So we'll go back to our homepage. One way that you can check that your youth was enrolled in the program after you did enroll existing is by simply checking your roster as we learned in the beginning of this training. So as you can see now, Aaron Fake is enrolled in your program. So say that you went through that step of enrolling the existing participant and did not find the person that you were looking for. If the participant does not exist, we would go to Enrollment 2B, Enroll New. Using the intake form that I showed you earlier, you would fill out the data that's needed. Also, don't forget to backdate the start date if you need to. As you'll see in this form, the items here with the red asterisk are required. So please feel free to scroll through this while you're in the training program just to see the different fields that would need to be filled out. And as you can see, they match with that intake form I showed you earlier. One tip that's helpful to know is that you can't use special symbols in names in ETO. So for example, you can't use an enye or an accent mark. When you're done filling out the participant intake information, you would just scroll to the bottom, click Save, and then your participant would be enrolled into your program. We'll go back home again. So now that we know how to enroll participants, we'll go over how to update participant info. For example, if you see an error in a participant's information or you need to change their address or something else, you would go to Enrollment 3, Update Info. You would search for the participant's last name. And let's just say I needed to update Aaron Fake's information. And let's say that his address was incorrect. So I need to add 1419 Columbia Road Northwest. You would just make any of the changes that you needed to make. And when you're done, click Save. When you're done, you would just go back to your home page again. So next we're going to go over managing groups. Groups allow us to take attendance for youth who are together in cohorts. If your program has cohorts or groups of youth that attend programming together, always use groups to manage program attendance. We're going to go over how to add program attendance later in Module 4, but for now, I'm just going to show you how to create a group and manage it. So click on Enrollment 4, Manage Groups. To add a new group, you would just say plus new, click it right here. And we'll fill out these highlighted fields. So always give your group a really descriptive name, including the time frame. So for example, fall 2017 cohort. So for example, I could put Lena's group, winter 2018. Also put the group start date. One thing that's really important about the group start date is to make sure that it starts before or on the same day that youth were enrolled in the program. So I always like to backdate it a little bit more to be safe. You don't have to fill in any of this extra information here. Group end dates and notes always change, so we prefer to leave them blank just in case these things change. And then when you're done, click Save. So as you can see here, my group was added to this list. And to add youth to my group, I'll just click it right here. So you would choose plus add to add youth to your group. So as you can see, this is giving me a list of all the youth who are enrolled in my program currently. It'll also tell you if the youth are enrolled in different groups. It's okay if a youth is enrolled in more than one group, just keep in mind where they should be enrolled. So in order to add a youth to the group, you would just click on the checkbox next to their name. So let's say I wanted to add Aaron, Ashley, and Sydney. Sydney. There might also be youth on a second page, so don't hesitate to go to the second page if all the youth aren't showing up. And let's say I also want to add Sandra Fake. When I'm done, I would click Save. And as you can see here on the right, all of those youth were added to my group. I'll click Save again, just to make sure. Oops, nope, I didn't need to do that. So all the youth are in the group there. You can double check that they're in your group by going back to Manage Groups, clicking on the group you want, and then you'll see that their names are there. And just as we did before, you can choose plus add to add any new members that you would like to add. So all of the youth who are not in the group will show up here in your list. One last thing that I'll show you about groups is how to edit or disable a group. So let's go back to Manage Groups. And so you can see the group here that I created today. Here on the left side where it says Take Action, you have the ability to disable the group or edit it. For example, you might want to edit the group to change the name if you didn't put it in correctly the first time. Okay, so that is managing groups. Please feel free to pause the video and practice creating groups and adding fake participants to them. Having groups set up will really come in handy when we learn about adding attendance for groups of participants. So when you get into your real program homepage, make sure that you have your group set up correctly. That'll make your life a lot easier. So next, we're going to go over adding referrals. This is how we document referrals that we make within LAYC and outside of LAYC. So let's click Referral. And you'll always choose participant. So we're almost always referring a single participant when we make a referral. From here, you'll get a list of all of the youth who are enrolled in your program, who you can make a referral for. So let's say we want to make a referral for Elena Fake, and I'll click on the checkbox next to their name. Click Submit. So you'll see on this next screen some different options for the type of referral you can make. You will never use this one, to site, so you can feel free to ignore it. To entity signifies a referral outside of LAYC, whether that entity is a service provider, an employer, or an education institution. Frequently, we also need to refer youth to internal LAYC programs, and so to do that, you would choose To Program. Let's choose that one right now for practice, and click Submit. So you would go ahead and select the program that you want to refer to from the drop-down list. So let's say that I want to refer this youth to the CTRL program for an HIV test. Feel free to leave the rest of this information blank. We don't use it for our reporting, so it's not important to us to have to fill it out. When you're all done, all you need to do is click Submit, and your referral has been made. What the referral process does is gives us a documentation of where youth have been referred, but also don't forget to actually refer the youth in real life. This process itself doesn't actually refer the youth. And lastly, in this module, we'll go over how to dismiss youth. At the end of a program or a cohort, or if the participant drops out or stops receiving services, we need to dismiss them from the program. For programs without a set cohort, such as those receiving drop-in services, we dismiss all clients at the end of the fiscal year, which is September 30th of each year. So let's click Dismiss Participants. And so we'll type in the last name of the youth who we want to dismiss from the program. And I'm going to type in last name Fake. So let's say we want to dismiss Aaron. We'll click the checkbox next to the youth's name and scroll to the bottom here. We always give the youth a program end date. That's just the last day that they were receiving services. So let's say that that was today. And then we give the youth a dismissal reason. Dismissal reasons vary across programs, so please check with your supervisor or a learning and evaluation staff if you have any questions about which dismissal reason to use. So let's say that this particular student completed the program. Then when you're done, you would just click Dismiss Participant. And you'll no longer see Aaron Fake in your roster. Thanks, that's all for Module 3, so please stay tuned for Module 4.